There are three kinds of guys in the world of attraction. The first kind worships women from afar. He's polite, agreeable, always available, but invisible. He doesn't understand why she just sees him as a friend. The second kind tries to hack the system. He memorizes pickup lines, watches hours of seduction gurus, and acts like someone he's not. Women see right through it. And then there's the third kind, the rarest. He doesn't chase, he doesn't perform, and yet women gravitate to him. Not because he's tall or rich or ripped, but because of something deeper, something magnetic. He doesn't need them. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to become that kind of man. You've been lied to. You've been taught that women are attracted to performance, what you wear, how much money you make, how you talk, walk, flirt. You've been taught to measure your worth based on how well you impress her. But attraction doesn't work like that. It's not logical. It's not earned through effort. It's triggered. It's instinctive. And once you internalize that, you stop trying to win her and start living in a way that naturally draws her in. Think about this. Have you ever seen a guy with a beautiful girl and thought, how the hell did he get her? He's not rich. He's not even that good looking. But he has that calm, that presence, that quiet knowing that he's enough. You feel it when he talks. You feel it in how he moves. He doesn't seek approval. He doesn't chase. And that's exactly why she's chasing him. Most guys, they don't even realize how needy they are. They walk into a room and scan for validation. They're not asking, do I like her? They're wondering, will she like me? Everything they say is rehearsed. Every action is filtered through fear. Will this get her attention? Will she smile? Will she stay? And then they wonder why she pulls away. Women don't feel attraction through words. They feel it through energy. They're emotional barometers. They don't hear what you say. They feel who you are. If you feel weak, unsure, or nervous, that's what they respond to. You might look good on paper, but if your energy says, I'm not enough, she won't even know why. She'll just feel repelled. That's why the confident guy, the calm guy, the one who doesn't perform, he gets her without even trying. Back in university, I was that first guy. Desperate for attention, constantly wondering what I was doing wrong. Every rejection felt like a punch in the stomach. Until one day, a friend handed me a book. I don't remember everything in it, but I do remember the feeling. It was like someone had finally turned on the lights. The message was brutal and clear. Women aren't attracted to what you show them. They're attracted to what you believe about yourself. Let me say that again, because it'll rewire your brain if you really hear it. Women feel what you feel about yourself. If you see yourself as second-rate, a girl will feel that. If you see yourself as someone who isn't quite worthy of her attention, she'll agree. You won't even have to say it. It'll be in your posture, your tone, your timing. But if you see yourself as the prize, calmly, without bravado, then something changes. You don't need to convince her. You don't even need to try. She senses it. And that's where the game flips. When you put a woman on a pedestal, you become less human and more pet. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You agree with things you disagree with. You bend your schedule around hers. You think you're showing affection, but you're only showing weakness. And women don't respect weakness. Not because they're cruel, but because they're wired for strength, for certainty, for leadership. And if you don't carry that, no amount of flowers or compliments will save you. I've watched guys destroy themselves trying to win a woman's approval. They study techniques. They fake confidence. They follow some bizarre algorithm of what to text, when to reply, how long to wait. It's pathetic. Because underneath all that strategy is a single belief. I'm not good enough as I am. And that belief poisons everything. You don't win women by strategizing. You win by not needing to win. You don't perform. You present. You show up. You speak with weight. You listen more than you talk. You don't ask permission to exist in her space. You take up space. You radiate the sense that whether she likes you or not, you're good. You're enough. You're already winning. That's why. The man who teases her, who challenges her, who makes her question whether she meets his standards, that's the man she can't stop thinking about. Not because he's cruel, but because he refuses to be conquered. He's not available for worship. He's not handing out validation like candy. In fact, he might be the first man who ever looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You're cute, but I'm not sure we'd actually click." She doesn't know how to process that. And in that moment, you've flipped the script. She's the one trying to prove something now. Now she's leaning in. Not physically, not yet. But emotionally, she's intrigued. You're not like the others. You're not jumping through hoops. You're not another guy trying to prove his worth through flattery or obedience. You're grounded, composed. There's something in your energy that says, I'm not here to qualify for your attention. I'm here to see if you qualify for mine. That shift in frame, that's the difference between a man who gets ghosted and a man who gets obsessed over. Picture this. Two guys approach the same woman. One walks up like he's entering an audition. His smile is stretched too wide, his body is stiff, and every word feels like a pitch. Hey, I just saw you from across the room and I think you're really beautiful. Can I buy you a drink? She hears this 10 times a week. It's noise. Now the second guy walks up like he owns the space. He looks her in the eyes. Not staring, not pleading, just steady. He says, You look like you order the most boring drink here. Her brain lights up. That wasn't expected. That wasn't desperate. That was playful and grounded at the same time. That was masculine energy, unafraid of pushback. He didn't compliment her. He challenged her. And guess what? She smiled, maybe laughed, maybe rolled her eyes, but she felt something. And that's what matters. You're not there to entertain her. You're there to engage her. There's a huge difference. One seeks approval. The other provokes curiosity. And here's the reality. Women are bored. They're tired of men who bend. They're surrounded by guys who say yes to everything, who chase, who shrink themselves to fit her expectations. That's not attractive. That's annoying. Women want to feel something. They want a man who leads the moment, not one who asks her where to take it. They want to feel the strength of a man who can joke with them, challenge them, flirt with them, not because he's hoping to get something from them, but because he enjoys the dance. But here's the part no one talks about. That confidence doesn't come from lines or routines. It comes from detachment, from not needing the outcome. When you aren't obsessed with winning her over, you suddenly become magnetic. You can say what you actually think. You can tease, joke, flirt, even walk away without looking back. Because you're not clinging to her response like a lifeline. Ask yourself this. How would you act if you knew you had 10 other amazing women waiting for your call? Would you try so hard with this one? Would you overthink every word? No. You'd relax. You'd speak your truth. You'd lean back instead of forward. And ironically, that's what would make her lean toward you. Neediness repels. Abundance attracts. And abundance isn't about how many women you actually have. It's about the belief that you don't need any single one. It's the quiet power of knowing you are already enough, with or without her. That belief drips off you in every interaction. She feels it before you say a word. So next time you talk to a woman, don't try to impress her. Try to enjoy yourself. Look at her not as someone to please, but someone to explore. Have fun with the interaction. Tease her. Challenge her. Push her buttons a little. Not to insult, but to wake her up. Because deep down, what she really wants is a man who isn't afraid to be real, who doesn't play by the rules, who makes her feel like she's not just another pretty face. She's a participant in something exciting. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, rejection. You're terrified of it. That's okay. Most men are. You think if she rejects you, it says something about your worth, but it doesn't. It just says she wasn't for you, or she wasn't ready. That's it. But if you take it personally, you'll shrink. You'll start filtering everything through fear. You'll stop showing up as your real self, and women can feel that shift. The truth is, the man who attracts most is the man who risks most. The one who's not afraid to get turned down because he doesn't see it as loss. He sees it as a filter. If she's not into him, great. He doesn't have time for anyone who doesn't vibe with his truth. That mindset isn't arrogance. It's security. It's freedom. And ironically, it's the exact quality that makes women not want to reject him. Rejection stings when your whole identity is wrapped in whether or not she accepts you. But when your identity is anchored in your own values, your own standards, your own sense of worth, rejection becomes background noise. It's like walking through a storm with a hood on. You feel the rain, but it doesn't stop you from moving forward, because you know who you are. Here's the part that separates the men from the boys, holding your frame when the stakes feel high. Anyone can act calm when nothing's on the line. But what happens when she's hot? Like, really hot? When she's giving you attention, but also testing your backbone? Most guys crumble. They revert to nice guy mode. Start being extra agreeable, afraid to rock the boat. But women test not because they want you to fail. They test because they need to know you're real. She'll push your buttons. She'll say something that challenges your confidence. Maybe she mocks your opinion. Maybe she hints she's out of your league. Maybe she acts cold. And in that moment, everything inside you wants to fold, to win her back with validation or appeasement. But here's the truth. That's the moment she decides who you are. Not when you approach, not when you flirt, but when you're challenged. If you stay grounded, smirk, call her bluff, stand your ground without getting emotional, she feels it. She feels the steel in you. And suddenly, you're not like every other guy. You're not shaken by her beauty. You're not intimidated by her moods. You're not fighting to keep her. That's power. That's masculinity. She'll pretend to be offended. She'll roll her eyes. But deep down, she's hooked. Because you just did what 99% of men can't. You made her feel safe in your strength. Let's go deeper. One of the most destructive things a man can do is alter his behavior just to match a woman's preferences. He changes how he talks. He pretends to like her hobbies. He edits his opinions. He stops being himself to keep her close. And every inch he gives up, she loses respect. Not consciously, but instinctively. Because women don't fall for chameleons. They fall for men with color, men with spine, men who can walk away. Imagine you're in an argument. She gets emotional, accuses you of not caring, threatens to leave. The average guy panics. No, don't go. Let's talk about it. I'll change. He's so afraid to lose her. He sacrifices his own truth. And once he does that, once he abandons himself, she knows he's not the man she can truly trust. Now picture a different man. She threatens to leave, and he says calmly, maybe we're not right for each other. He doesn't yell. He doesn't beg. He doesn't throw insults. He just stands tall in his truth, because he values himself more than he fears being alone. That's the man who gets chased. Not because he plays games, but because his backbone is unshakable. You can't fake that. You can't rehearse it. It comes from knowing that your values, your peace, your self-respect, those are non-negotiable. And no woman, no matter how beautiful, gets to cross that line. Here's something most men never understand. Being with a woman doesn't make you valuable. Being willing to lose her is what makes you valuable. That's what makes you rare. That's what makes her look at you and think, damn, I can't control this one. And control is what most women subconsciously seek. Not because they're evil, but because they want to feel the edge. They want to know they can't push you over. Because only then do they relax into the polarity. Only then do they feel feminine, soft, receptive. But if you crumble at every test, she has to lead. And if she's leading, she can't feel attraction. She can't respect you. And if she can't respect you, it's already over. So what's the play? How do you flip the script? You stop being so damn available. Emotionally, physically, energetically. You stop orbiting her. You start orbiting yourself, your purpose, your mission, your growth. She becomes part of your life, not the center of it. And when you do give her attention, make it count. Be fully there. Be present. Lead, tease, flirt, touch, then walk away. Go back to your life. Let her feel the contrast, the space. Let her miss your energy. Let her crave your presence. Because she can't crave you if you're always there. This is the paradox that drives women crazy, in the best way. The man who's most attractive is the one who's least afraid to walk away, not to manipulate, but because he has options, because he has standards, because he knows his worth. A woman can smell desperation. It leaks out of your pores, in your over-texting, in your compliments, in your double-checking. But you know what else she smells? Detachment, calm. A man who has nothing to prove. That's the scent of dominance, of certainty, of a life that's already full, with or without her. Now let's go even further into the deepest layer. What happens when she starts chasing you? When you become the man that women want to impress? Most guys sabotage it. They don't know how to hold the frame. They get excited. They start acting different. They give away the power they just earned by slipping back into the mindset of, please like me. But the high-value man doesn't shift. He doesn't treat her like a goddess because she smiled at him. He doesn't flinch when she starts acting hot and cold. He doesn't rush into commitment because she's finally showing interest. He stays exactly as he was, grounded, amused, selective, because that's who he really is. Her attention doesn't change him. It reveals him. Think about the guys who end up with amazing women and keep them. Are they the flashiest, the richest, the smoothest? Not always. But they all have one thing in common. They don't pedestalize. They don't give women unearned value. They know that beauty is common, that attraction is cheap, and that what really matters is alignment, values, respect, depth. Let's say you meet a stunning woman. Most guys would go into performance mode, but you're scanning her. You're observing her energy, her attitude. You're not wondering, will she like me? You're wondering, is she even the kind of woman I want to bring into my world? That's the energy of a man who chooses, not one who waits to be chosen. You want to know the fastest way to become magnetic? Start rejecting what doesn't match your standards. Start saying no to women who don't treat you well. Start walking away when your boundaries are crossed. Start treating your time and attention as sacred, because it is. When you stop giving yourself away for scraps of affection, you become rare. And when you're rare, you become powerful. And here's something women will never say out loud, but you'll see it in their behavior. They value what they work for. They obsess over what they can't fully predict. If you're an open book, she'll close it. But if you're a novel with tension, depth, and pages she has to earn the right to turn, that's when she locks in. Don't just be interesting. Be interested in yourself. Have a mission so strong that she has to run to keep up. Build a life that makes her curious. Not because you're showing off, but because you're genuinely focused on building something real. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join your purpose. But if you don't have one, she'll lose respect before you even get the first date. And the next time you find yourself adjusting your words, your tone, your lifestyle to fit her preferences, pause. Ask yourself, would I respect a woman who did this for me? Probably not. You'd sense the weakness, the surrender, the silent desperation, and she senses it in you. You don't win her heart by becoming her echo. You win it by becoming the mirror that reflects who she wants to rise into. You might think this mindset is harsh, that it lacks softness or romance, but that's not true. When you stand strong in your masculine energy, you create the exact safety a woman needs to open up, to be vulnerable, to submit, not in weakness, but in trust. But she can't trust a man who changes with the wind, who needs her more than he needs himself. You want her back? Don't beg. Rise. You want to keep her? Don't entertain her every demand. Lead. You want to attract her in the first place? Don't try. Just become the man who makes her question why she ever chased boys. And if she leaves, let her. The man you're becoming will draw better. Women who admire strength, who crave integrity, who are done with games and finally ready for a man who doesn't flinch. The truth is, getting girls is easy. What's hard is unlearning the weak patterns you've built over years of neediness. What's hard is facing rejection without shrinking. What's hard is building a life so full, so rich, that a woman doesn't complete it. She complements it. But once you become that man, you'll never chase again. You'll never wonder again. You'll look at a beautiful woman and think, she's lucky to know me. And that won't be arrogance. It'll be the quiet truth of a man who's finally chosen himself. You don't get her back by waiting. You get her back by never needing her again.